Welcome back to Ricky's Garage. I'm here at my work, my job, and here are my toolboxes. So I decided to make a video on my toolbox, or both of them. And I got ideas to make today and tomorrow for videos. Later I'm gonna go to the store and buy some things, but record that. This is just a video on my tour of my toolboxes as an automotive technician / mechanic, and yes, I am certified through Automotive Service of Excellence. So to begin, before we go into it, you don't need some expensive snap-on toolbox to get this started. First, you don't want to be in debt. Right now, currently, I owe $600, but that's of Milwaukee Tools, power tools, which are a necessity in this field. If you like ratcheting stuff, that's all you. But for me, I like to do it a little bit faster, and not bust a knuckle when I'm trying to loosen things. But so I bought the toolboxes from Harbor Freight. That's the 30-inch 5-drawer, and that's the 56 by 22. I guess they call it the double bank cabinet, something like that. It's in the back. Well, let's get started with this 30-inch 5-drawer. So this one, I used it during college and before college. So on the side, you can see there's extensions, first aid kit, and then on this side, I bought the thing for the extension cord that plugs into the wall and for the tool car. So if I gotta plug in one of my power tools, I just hook it up to there, or my phone. I got this little thing down here. I got all my liquids, fluids, power steering, starting fluid, spray infectant, especially around COVID time right now, brake fluid, and brake cleaner. Usually I have a can of Freon or penetrating fluid, but it's not here right now. And down here, excuse the mess, but I have a quart of empty bottle for oil. So if I need a quart, I just fill this up. AC flush, a star. That's what I know it. Cruceta, for the lug nuts on the vehicle. And then back here's some plastic when I do plastic welding. These bags, I got a microfiber towel and a red rag and the regular rag. And then back there's just a evaporator, not evaporator, the accumulator or the dryer off of I think it's S10, maybe the second generation, might be wrong. In a book for the old filters, I just put it down there because we were cleaning up. So I don't use this area mostly just to get the rags. So I'm gonna open it up, and what I have here is real basic and simple. I got a lava soap right there, my peanut butter, and I call it peanut butter for the anti-seize, copper compound, good stuff. And then I got this other stuff, which is the silver. I got my magnet here, usually right there. Ball, I don't know, don't ask that. Got my pressure gauge, and then my 1/2-inch extensions would be there. That's for my truck, which is in the maroon truck of the channel. My other extension for 3/8, my swivel for the 3/8 impact. My cousin told me this isn't a knife. It's like a knife, but it's not. I don't know the name for these, but I got that off of a vehicle that was all crashed, and we were gonna take it away, and I was like, well, I'll get it. So this is my Cornwell socket set with the ratchet. The story behind this one is during college there was a sale on this. It was only for like $110 $79. Usually it's like $300. This is deep and shallow metric and standard 3/8 drive sockets, and it was a deal. And I wanted a ratchet because the ratchets I had were cheap. They were Pittsburgh Harbor Freight, and they wouldn't last me long. So I wanted I was gonna buy the set, but I wanted a ratchet, and the guy was like, you know what? I'm gonna throw the ratchet in there for you. And this is not the one I picked. I picked another one. He's like, no, this one's a little bit better. I can't remember if this one. There's the number. That 7.2, I think it's standard for the teeth. Not mistaken. I might be wrong. Then I got my screwdriver. Usually it's in the other drawer, and I ended up paying almost $200 for all of this. That's all I use. This is all I need. This is all you really need to use in a tool cart. Your 3/8, especially in the automotive field, like the Suburban over there. The guy, he had a ticking sound, and he decided to do his own mechanic work, and did not end up going well. He needs a new head. Here is my other set, but this is for Torx and inverted, and I got my little adapter in there from Harbor Freight. It's a cheap little adapter, which it works, and I've been having it for over 2 years. Anything Harbor Freight here is 2 years old, except for that toolbox. But the tools on there's some tools that have been with me for 2 years. I picked this set up about 2 months ago, and I've used it since then. Real good set. It was on a special too as well for Cornwell, I think last month or the month before. It was it's like a half deal. It comes with the magazine. I want to say 2 months, but usually it's like 300. Paid like 170, I believe. This is not supposed to be here in here either, but that's my Harbor Freight Allen wrench set, standard, and I got my little mirror there. And over here usually would be other stuff, but right now I'm organizing this one. That's what I use every day. Now we go down to the cabinets. My junk drawer / my everyday use. Metric, ratchet wrenches, Harbor Freight. Used them since 2 years ago. A trim panel, use that a lot. And the smaller flat blade screwdriver, which this one goes in here. I use them both mostly. And a pick. I know there's another pick underneath. This is supposed to be my wrench cabinet for this one, but usually I never use standard. Most of these cars are all metric, especially all these foreign cars. So this is the one I use every day. This is what I have. And this pick, I bent it for multi-purpose uses, I guess. The second one, all my pliers, Harbor Freight and the cheap brand, but I really don't use any of these much. The cutting ones, this, I don't know what brand or what it is. I just found it, a whole set, and it works alright. But these green ones, green and black ones, are Harbor Freight. This channel lock's from Harbor Freight. Channel lock, locking pliers. This one, I don't know what brand it is, but it works. Macco for the like plastic trim, especially in the end fenders. We have all the little clips that takes them out. The only complaint I have about this is when you do this, oh man, I pinch my skin right there on the bottom. My gaskets, this should be up here with the other one, and this one as well for the trim, especially on the Chevys. Mostly I use it on the Chevys. That's what I work with a lot here in the shop. The little tabs, the plastic deals that you see, and you put them like that and you pull them. I use this at almost every day, so that's why I have it in the everyday toolbox. Okay, this one, all my power tools. Yeah, there's firecrackers, especially coming around Christmas time and all that. But usually here I have my spare battery for the 3/8. It's my 3/8 ratchet, electric ratchet, Milwaukee. I've got this since July. After a month I started here, I used it. These two are my newest edition. This is the ones why I owe 600 bucks. It actually came in a big old kit. This I bought separate, but the kit that I bought came with this, a grinder, a drill, and the batteries were already included and everything, an extra charger. And I bought this extra one because I already had a battery with the set. So this is all M18 fuel, Milwaukee fuel. These are my batteries, and I use them every day. Usually this one is a beast, especially on lug nuts and rusty stuff that I have to use underneath the vehicle. I would not recommend using this in the engine bay at all, unless you're taking off the motor mounts, especially the motor mounts only. Anyways, this one is a impact driver, and I have this adapter. This is my second one. The first one, it only lasted me a month and it snapped off, and this is from Cornwell as well. The Cornwell's like for $4, so I'm not complaining. That's my electric stuff in there. This big one, torque wrench, a 1/2-inch torque wrench, and then this is a 1/2-inch Craftsman, I believe. Yes. That you can move it back and forth. I don't remember. I can't remember the name. I got these straps. I have another one on the vehicle outside, but this I bought it from Walmart. Real handy, especially on brake jobs or holding stuff up, just like this. But this one is adjustable, and like I said, this is my everyday. So brake jobs, I got these two different style of the caliper to push it back in. Big old. These aren't channel locks, but that's the name for it. And my hammer. And under here, I have a couple of papers, but for this one is a Chevy 5.3 belt diagram. And I'm guessing by now you're thinking, man, you work on Chevys a lot. Yeah, that's what we get most of the time, especially the 08s like that, and newer, and older too. In this drawer, I have my $400 O'Reilly scan tool, which works all right. Doesn't do like a Snap-on does. Now that's a beast. Some extra stuff in here with my zip ties. This is gasket for a oil pan, and I took it because it came like 3 different gaskets. I don't know why, but these are reusable for anything. So if I need a gasket on anything, I just cut a piece. That's the cover with all the different leads for the connectors, and then my gloves. And that's pretty much it for my toolbox for everyday use. And I don't need these Allen wrenches every day, so that's why they're not here. But U.S. Journal Harbor Freight toolbox with both a mixture of Cornwell, Matco, and the Harbor Freight, obviously, tools, and they do the job. Now going to my big toolbox. On the side, you already see is a Matco light. It uses time to time, but most of the time it holds this thing from Harbor Freight for your towels, and I have a towel on there. But when there's a lot of wind, it blows a bunch of rolls going the opposite way, so the thing's all the way down there. So I use this to hold it down. That's an extra toolbox I found. A hammer and a big old pipe wrench, and the Mexican style knee pad. I know I can buy one, but at the time I needed, because boy, working outside when the car is broke down, you're trying to get into the shop, it ain't fun. But anyways, on top, excuse me the mess, but I got a clipboard here. This is supposed to be in this drawer with my diagnostics. I have another one for the shop. That's for diagnostics cabinet. But anyways, up here, excuse the mess. I got my tool bag, which I'm about to use to take a bunch of stuff home. I got a little project doing. Like I said, like I'm gonna make another video for the project, and It's not the S10, the black one, but it's another S10 family. It's a Blazer, but that one, it runs and drives and everything. We're just gonna clean it up and fix it up. And I don't know if I'm gonna sell it or not, but stay tuned for that one. But anyways, the gloves I used yesterday, this is the weekend, so yesterday was Friday for me. My speaker, electrical tape. In here is just a like arm burner for the oil changes. Horn, just miscellaneous stuff in there. Nothing worth. My cheater pipe, my little headlamp when I'm working under the cars. There's a stream light. My little books from Matco and Cornwell, somewhere down here. There he is. That's where I got all the specials and stuff. And I have this cover. And underneath is still original and clean. So that's why I put this little mat. Anyways, like I said, this is a 56 inch by 22 Harbor Freight special. And the first drawer here, like every other mechanic toolbox I see, is the socket set. Now for me, I got both metric and standard, deep and shallow, impact, 6-point, and 6-point only. I don't like using the 12-point for 2 reasons. One, you can strip a head off if you don't have it on right, and 2, if it's rusted the hell out and has no head anymore, you just screwed yourself. So that's why I use the 6-point, especially on impact, especially all that. Especially with those Milwaukee guns, boy, you're gonna break a head off. And have I done it once? Yes, I have. But was it on the customer vehicle? No, it was on my own vehicle. So I take the blame for myself. Back here, just cables, my watch, air chuck, and the light. But these are all Harbor Freight. And these two, these quarter inch are from Walmart. But back in the day, not like right now, this is like 10 years ago. So these are like brand new almost, because I would never use them. My dad bought me a little tool kit, and that's what they had. So I still have them to this day. So they hold some type of value, sentimental value. I think that's how you say it. But these are the only ones I haven't. These are Stanley, both the metric and the standard over there. These are the 12 points. I never use them because there's a rare chance I use a 12-point bolt and I have the socket for it. And sometimes it's not even a 12 bolt, it's one of those weird like inverted ones, but that's why I bought that set over there. So these I rarely use them. That's why they're in this big toolbox. But there's a chance sometime in the future that I will use one eventually. But it's mostly metric. Same like these quarter inch. I never use it unless I'm doing dash work. But that's right now there ain't no dash work, so I just have them there. This stuff. What is this stuff? Oh, sealant with Teflon. I have it here. It's just part of my toolbox. I've used it a couple of times, especially on the threads. This is like dielectric grease. No, battery. Huh. Oh, it is the grease that goes over the battery terminals. I thought it was dielectric grease. My bad. Sharpie highlighter. These my dad gave them to me. He was like, whenever you need to sand down little things, use them. Tire pressure gauge. These I know they tip cleaners, right, for welding and such, but the other use I have for these are for carburetors, especially in those small carburetors. I just poke through them and clean them, and I use all the different sizes, so that's what I use them for, not for the welding stuff. Allen wrench key, an adapter right there, tire tread gauge, a Harbor Freight flex head, that's what they call flex head ratchet for the quarter inch, which works awesome, especially when you're doing like blower motors and stuff, hard to reach places. Another Harbor Freight ratchet I use time to time, and the 1/2 inch, which works just as well. And then I got the 3/8 and another 1/2 inch. I mean 1/4 inch ratchet. Oh, actually, man, looking at it closely, it's a 1/4 inch as well. I got 3 of them, but these are stationary, and that one's a flex head. The screwdriver, but for the ones that go in here, I have them over there. The bits, feeder gauges in the back. I don't know if you see that, probably not. These little boxes have like clips and stuff, paper clips. And then my other mirror for Matco, I have it here. It's my backup. The other one I use it every day because it's all broken. So, and there's my standard. And this is all full. This is all filled in. I don't. I have these which are over here, but they don't fit. They're just too big. And these trays, I got them from Harbor Freight. So yeah, that's expected. But they wouldn't fit, so I put them over there, and those are my big sockets. And then I got the Torx bit for 1/2 inch. I just have them there scattered. Normally I don't use them because I got the 3/8, and then usually that 3/8 gun hits it pretty good. But that's where my sockets are. And oh yeah, I forgot about Black & Decker here. I don't use this a lot, but sometimes it comes in handy, especially for that impact one driver. But that's where that's my socket tray. The second is very empty. This would be normally where my screwdrivers would come in, but most half the time the socket, that's where that goes. Allen wrench. Most half the time when it comes to these cross ones, they have a socket head, or they have a hex head, and I just put a socket and just take it off. I never use these. Only the interior of a car normally. A brush, wire brush, another one. The rest of my extensions are over here, all scattered, 1/2 and 3/8. But like I said, I have those over there that I normally use every day, so I got pretty much 2 exact same pairs, so I just leave them there. Guide pins for flywheels. This one I think is Toyota. Yeah, Toyota, and this one's a Dodge for Big Cummins. My other Lonely Pick that I don't use because it's the same one as the other one in there. And then this is my Cornwell one. I use them time to time, but not every day. My 1/4 inch torque wrench, Harbor Freight, and the flexible head, swivel, whatever that is, 1/2 inch drive, ratchet, and my washer. Other than that's empty, and hopefully after Christmas this will be filled with a tray and some screwdrivers. The third one is my wrenches, all Harbor Freight. And I know people are gonna say Harbor Freight, they suck, they don't last. These wrenches have all been used. This is a Mexican made homemade distributor hold down bolt on the Chevy, which is 13 on the Vortex. I can't find it, and it's from Walmart. This wrench, I don't think it'll pick it up. Well, it says Walmart, and you can see right there, $3.50 Vortex. And there's my other ratchet wrench, standard. No, don't ever use, but it's there with the wrenches. And there's times where I use these standard ones, but on big bolts, which is like what? But yeah, I still use these. And I use these half the time, most of the time. The only one I'm missing is the 13. Usually it'd be a 10, just like the socket, but no, it's the 13. But I have the full set. I just need to buy a tray to organize it a little bit better. The only one that's not from Harbor Freight is this one. I don't know, it just says Blackhawk. I don't know if that's the brand name or whatever, but the 18 a little bit longer, which is better than these average size ones from Harbor Freight. I'm not complaining, so I have 18 and I have it there. Offset wrenches, metric mostly. Like I said, they're all metric nowadays. Use these several times, not everyday use. And I have them there. Flare nut, especially on the brake jobs, when you're bleeding. This is what I use. I don't ever use one of these. If you use these and you're good at it, okay, but I would recommend using the flare nut wrench. That's what they're made for hydraulic lines and so forth. Especially when they're rusted out, you want to use these. I had no complaints because these been with me for over 2 years. And even I even use them for the diesel jobs. Not here in this shop, but with my dad. He owns a bunch of 18-wheelers, so I help him out. And we both have Harbor Freight tools. That's what he likes most of the time. It's cheap for him, and that's just the way he is. But some of these work, but he bought them years ago, so they've been through some wear and tear. But for some reason, if you put them on the bind, you can see the whole wrench bending, so it's kind of scary. But the ones I've used, they don't do that. And I mean, for the automotive field here with these cars, that's all you need, really. My pliers drawer, Cornwell and Harbor Freight. Cornwell, Harbor Freight. These are my long pliers. Use them time to time. They come in handy. The ones that you use a lot would be on the radiator jobs or hoses. Would be these from Harbor Freight, believe it or not. And then Cornwell has these, which they came useful yesterday, but they're not every day. Tin cutters, the best thing you want to have in a toolbox. These I bought them at Tractor Supply. It was cheap 2 years ago. I took them. They had their uses a couple of times. A big old crescent wrench. This is a Stanley one from Walmart before they introduced that Hyper Tough. I took that. A channel lock from Cornwell. I have this Harbor Freight one. This Harbor Freight one sucks. I wouldn't even buy the set. Well, I would buy the set, but I wouldn't buy this. This sucks. I wouldn't recommend even having this in your toolbox, but I just have it there because I don't know how to really dispose of it. It's called a trash can, but sometimes it comes in handy, sadly. There's my other crescent wrenches, and then there's my snap ring plier. Really, just snap rings. The ones you can change the head. And I would recommend getting the ones that come in different pieces, different ones, instead of swapping the heads out because they don't last long. But in my field, what I'm doing, they last a while. And then I got this from last Christmas. Really handy. I just don't use it because I have no use for it, but that's good on heads or valve covers or whatever. Real handy. And then there's my Matco tray for Cornwell pliers. Got those, and I got these other pliers. Then they come with different weird ones I've never seen in my life, to be honest with you. These are like little wire cutters with like a little nose pliers, just like the long ones over here. And then this is the other one from the other toolbox, but this one is just more of like a 90 degree. I don't use this one because the other one works just as fine, but there's those times where it's going to be hard to reach, and this comes in perfect play. But I just don't use it that often because I just don't. So that's my plier drawer. This one is a little bit of everything. Harbor Freight, torque sticks, the flaring kit, at Craftsman 1/4 inch metric socket set. I still have the full set. I just don't use it because it's like old as hell. A wheel brush, other set. This is for the brakes, adjustable thing. The ones where you have to turn the caliper and put pressure to it. These don't really work. I wouldn't even buy these. These are from Cornwell. They were cheap, but they just don't work like the way I wanted it. These are the hold, put pressure on the lines so they won't leak out. They work, but I just don't recommend doing it on the brake lines because that might collapse it, but that's what they were made for, but I just don't use them as much. Fuel line disconnectors, the flaring kit, brand new. Drum brake set from Harbor Freight. Got my gun, Hyper Tough from Walmart. AC oil, AC O-rings. Yeah, just a bunch of O-rings here. And here's just more junk, really. Bolts, nuts, washers, springs. And then Ace Hardware, Craftsman, Walmart, Kmart, like this one right here. Kmart, 9-inch? Yeah, 9-inch. I mean, 9mm. And they're mostly, some of them are the 6-point and 12-point. But I got a full setup on the other drawer. But this is all old stuff, and I wouldn't recommend using for my use, because then I'll get confused with what I have. So I just put them there. But other than that, that's what I have in here. And then this one, my big one, I have all the other power tools. I got my rags here, some clean up dry for the oil spills. Got my Milwaukee grinder, came useful. In mechanic world, this comes useful. Got a drill, also came useful. And then I got a Harbor Freight fuel injection pump tester. Works great, just as like expensive one does. Down here is all my little bags for all the things I got. I don't use them. An extra battery for those two, and then the stuff that comes with the grinder. Don't want to lose that. Another piece for the grinder. Oh no, actually this one's for the grinder. My bad. And then I got a tap and die set from Harbor Freight, both metric and standard. They come useful, especially when we're trying to figure out what type of thread pitches on bolts or nuts before we go to the damn parts store to go get them. I figure it out. I just go in there and I'm like, I need this. All right, they give it to me. That just makes my life much easier. That's it for that one. Up here, I have my paperwork, scissors, vitamins, my medicine, hand cleaner, salt, my safety glasses, and a little bit of food, and my charger, matches, and the low gun deal. Really just my personal stuff. I put my keys. Oh, excuse me. This one has all my electrical stuff. Here we go again. Harbor Freight. Everything you see here is Harbor Freight, except for this. This is Walmart, and this is a multimeter that my dad bought 2 years ago. This is all 2 years old, and it works. All I need. You need one of these if you're going to be working on Chevys, especially in a shop that does a little bit of everything. For the side post, you need this. Don't use a regular wrench or anything else. Just buy one of these. They're cheap. They're really cheap. And this is from Cornwell. So get them, please. Don't use a wrench. Just buy the tools that were meant for the job. All Harbor Freight, real cheap. Have them. They work. Fuses, battery tester, which works, but we have a big one here at the shop. Wire strippers. This is the only good ones I have. This one is good to crimp, but it doesn't do a good job stripping. That one just strips, but doesn't crimp as well. So I got new ones coming from Snap-on, because I started with them a little while ago. Electrical tape, electrical drawer. This one, files, punches and chisels, and a digital caliper set from Harbor Freight, and a little file from Harbor Freight, but this is like years ago. Like needle files. They come in handy, but I never use them as much. Like I said, this one real empty. I got a spatula there. This is Matco. I believe this is the socket ones. Yeah, the socket magnetic sockets. They come in all different sizes and stuff. If it ever focus, there you go. For all the different types of sockets. I mean the spark plugs of the socket. Don't normally use them every day because not every day people come in for a spark plug. Half the time it's just an occasion. This is an everyday use. It should be in the other one, but lately every day for me, a radiator job. And so on certain vehicles you might want to take the belt off to get to the fan. Like this Jeep here, if I were to do one, I have to take all that off. So it takes the serpentine belt off as well from Matco. That was like 120, and this one was more. It was like almost 200. Matco ain't cheap, but they got some alright tools. I just say that. And then the bottom one, my other towel. Before COVID, when 91% alcohol was really cheap, I still have that. And this is the actual, like, what is it? A quart. And it was really cheap. Now that COVID hit, they're smaller bottles and they're more expensive, so I don't use that as much. Try not to cut yourself. And usually alcohol, boy, that's gonna burn. I need to buy is the hydrogen peroxide. Snacks, spark plug, wires there, ignition stuff, a little bit of tools, and these rags, you know, snacks. And the evap tube, I don't know why it's in there. I really don't go in this big toolbox as much as every day. Always busy, but that's what I got. And you don't need a snap-on toolbox just to hold your tools. This is a Harbor Freight. This one was on sale for I think 600, 700. Might be wrong. They're currently 800, but mostly they're on sale half the time. This one, at the time, my dad paid for me to go to college with. This was 170. They're usually 230. This one was a birthday present. My dad was like, "Hey, what do you want for your birthday?" I was like, "Man, give me a big toolbox before I go into debt." And so he got me this, and it worked. Really, for everyday use is what you really need. A tool cart with your simple sockets, your ratchets in there. I need to buy the ratchet that my cousin has. I usually most of the time I use it, and I have a rule of thumb which I need to follow is if I use it more than 3 times, I gotta get it. I have to get it because I don't like borrowing people's tools, and that's just the way I am. But for that ratchet's from Matco, and it's like almost $200, so I'm like, I could probably get one a little bit cheaper somewhere, but if I have to, I'll buy it. But like I said, if you use it more than 3 times, go get it, because I don't like using other people's tools. If I break it, I'm responsible, and I gotta pay for it, for them to have one and not me. So that's all you need, really, is it's a cheap toolbox. My cousin uses a Husky one. It's over there. You really don't need a big fancy toolbox. Now, my boss, on the other hand, he has that big old Matco one. Not Matco, Mac tools. But that's like what he told me 10 years ago. So, and it has the hutch and everything inside, but it doesn't have light. But it does have all the electrical stuff, as you can see. But for me, what I use every day is this. That's just to hold my big old tools that I just buy and hold them there until I need them. But other than that, I just got what I got, for simple use. There'll be times where I need a special tool, but I'll borrow it and never use it until maybe 2 months later. That's what happens to me usually most of the time, so I don't use it. But yeah, that's my toolboxes, both of them. Harbor Freight specials, you know, cheap. They hold your tools. They hold both Snap-on, Matco, and Cornwell. That's all I have. That's all I work with. So that's just the way I roll. But appreciate if you watching this for now 40 minutes. Comment down below what toolbox you have or what tools you go with and what you like and subscribe if you want to watch more videos. Like I said, I got a video, other video I'm planning on today. Like I said, it's a blazer. We're gonna get that one running, and this one I'll upload it because there's no editing needed. Just upload it raw. Subscribe, like I said, subscribe, follow, all that good stuff, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video. Appreciate it. And matter of fact, we hit more than 100 subscribers, and my goal was to hit more than 100 before the end of the year. I appreciate all of y'all who subscribed. 107, I believe, right now, currently. And the people commenting about my past videos. Appreciate it. You know, your opinion is welcome and open. I don't care. I appreciate it and offer all your support. I want to continue making videos and even mechanic videos. I want to buy a little camera so I can put on my head and record a job or whatever throughout the day. Might be random vehicle, might be a Chevy, might be a Toyota, whatever. You know, simple shit. You know, simple shit to do. You know. But other than that, I appreciate it. Hopefully in the next video we get to see all of us. And stay safe out there with all this COVID stuff and whatever else in the world you're watching, your problems, you know, current with the pandemic. But stay safe, be okay. I appreciate it. See you in the next one. Thanks.